Welcome to this week's edition of Outdoors Online, a weekly webcast produced by the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I'm your host, Tom Jensen. For the second time in 6 years, North Dakota is going to have a pronghorn season in 2015. My guest this week is Bruce Stillings. Bruce is a big game supervisor for Game and Fish. He's actually in charge of the pronghorn program. Bruce, I guess the announcement that there is going to be a limited season this year, albeit a limited season, is still good news.
Yeah, we're providing hunting opportunities again, and we're going to open up a couple more units. We've got a couple units that are doing well. We've got enough animals that we can provide some harvest. We've got a really high buck-to-doe ratio, so we have a surplus number of bucks. So we'd like to provide that hunting opportunity while still encouraging the population to grow. So we'll be opening hunting units 4C and 3B this year, as well as keeping 4A open.
Bruce, I guess overall though the populations aren't that great, huh?
Yeah, we just completed our survey on July 7th, and actually the population estimate for pronghorn range was down about 9% from last year. And the main reason for this is reduced fawn production this year. Our fawn to doe ratio was about 52 fawns per 100 does, well below last year and well below the long-term average. So not bringing those fawns into the population was the reason we didn't see that increase in the population that we were hoping and expecting to see.
We did not have a season from 2009 to last year, 2014. Let's explain to the viewers why we didn't have a season in those particular years.
Right. I guess going back, we were kind of riding a pronghorn population high from the early 2000s through the mid 2000s. The population peaked between 2005 through 2007. And then we had the return of winter in 2008, 2009, and then once again in 2010. So it was very hard on our pronghorn population, hard on all our big game across the state. So levels dropped to a level that didn't support a harvest. So we've closed the season for 4 years, trying to do what we can to encourage that population to grow. And now we're starting to make some turns to see pronghorn increasing and allowing some hunting opportunities in at least a few of our southwestern units.
Is there a benchmark number, a population number that you use to determine that we could have a season last year and this year?
Right. Yeah, we have population objectives set up for each management region. For instance, down in the Bowman County management region, we'd like to see at least 1,500 to 2,500 animals within that area. Same with the southern Badlands, 1,500 to 2,500 and so on. Northern Badlands, that same population objective. So we'll aerial survey those survey units within the management region and then determine the population estimate and see where we're at within that population objective, determine whether we'll have a season or not. Bowman County last year was just above that minimum threshold that we'd like to see. This year, just a few animals just below, but right near that 1,500 mark. So that's the criteria that we use to open up a unit. Now with hunting unit 4C and 3B, we're not within that population objective that we'd like to see overall for the management region, but we have a couple units that are doing really well. High buck-to-doe ratio, surplus number of bucks. We know we can't stockpile them. We're in the rebuilding phase, but we could also be in another severe winter and starting from ground zero again. So we're going to open up those units, utilize those animals, and have 4C and 3B open as well this year.
Obviously, you don't drive up and down the back roads and count each one by hand. How do you do these surveys?
Right. Yeah, we have 4 airplanes, and we'll aerial survey. We completed just under 10,000 square miles from June 29th through July 7th. So we're flying a transect down the half-mile line, and then the observers counting and classifying animals 1/2 mile each side of the airplane. We fly north and south to minimize the effects of the sun. We do complete coverage, so when we get into a survey unit, we're running transects all the way through that survey unit, so there's not a portion that's left out that you extrapolate or something like that. So it's a pretty taxing process. And
Bruce, you kind of characterized the populations as disappointing. What's it going to take to get these populations headed in the right direction?
Right. Well, again, we're set up real similar to where we were in 2014. We're at that 5,200, 5,300 animals, and we're again need that mild, moderate winter, and then much better fawn production for 2016. And if that were to occur, we could see a nice bump. And it's not terribly different, the recovery process that we're seeing after the 2008, 9, and 10 winters as we did following the 96, 97 winters. It was about on year 5 that we really saw the pronghorn population really take a nice uptick following the 96, 97 winter. So we bottomed out in 2012. We're only in year 3. The next 2 years could be real telling to see where this pronghorn population goes.
We keep our fingers crossed then for some mild winters, huh?
We need mild winters, and then we need that fawn production to get going again. And with those 2 factors, we could be back in better pronghorn numbers. But when you're on the eastern edge and limited pronghorn habitat, that recovery process is much slower than it is in Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming. So.
All right, Bruce, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
A couple of things if you plan to apply for the 2015 Pronghorn Lottery. First, you must be a North Dakota resident to be eligible. Also remember, if you have accumulated points in the previous Pronghorn lotteries and choose not to apply this year, you will not lose your points. Applicants can apply online at the Game and Fish website at gf.nd.gov. You can print out a paper application off the website or pick one up at Game and Fish offices, county auditors, and licensed vendors across the state. Fill it out, send it in, or you can apply over the phone by calling 800-406-6409. For Bruce Stillings and the rest of the staff here at North Dakota Game and Fish, thanks for joining us for Outdoors Online. We'll see you again next week.